A surprise twist in a high-profile local murder case that led to an international manhunt. The wife of a veteran CAL FIRE captain admitting in court today to killing her. Good evening, I'm Marcella Lee. 54-year-old Yolanda Marodi pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in the February 2025 stabbing death of her wife Rebecca at their home in Ramona. She then fled to Mexico, where she was captured about a month later. News 8's Richard Allen is here now with how Rebecca's family is reacting to the plea.
Well, that's right. And Yolanda Marodi had been facing a first-degree murder charge, Marcella. Now, her decision to plead guilty today to second-degree murder will mean a lighter prison sentence than if she had ultimately been found guilty of that original charge. However, she had previously been convicted of manslaughter in the death of her first spouse back in 2000. And that's a felony conviction that will play a role in her upcoming sentencing.
This is I guess the case of a real life, what they call the Black Widow. Both of her spouses are killed by her.
Criminal defense attorney Brian Watkins, who's not connected to this case, says Yolanda Marodi's decision to admit to second-degree murder was a strategic one.
Well, most likely she wanted to plead guilty because she wanted to not roll the dice and go to trial.
Adding that second-degree murder is often called a heat of passion killing.
Saying that I did this, but it was in the heat of passion. It was not a premeditated, cold-blooded murder. It was something other than that. And that's what she admitted to.
Investigators say that her wife Rebecca, who had been with CAL FIRE for more than 30 years, told Yolanda she was leaving her about a week before the murder. In her plea, Yolanda Marodi admitted she used a knife to fatally attack Rebecca at their home in Ramona in February of last year. Ring camera footage of the incident captured Rebecca saying she did not want to die before appearing on camera with blood on her back, according to a court affidavit.
Situations where murder charges are involved, there's only two defenses. One is I didn't do it, and the other is I did it because. Her I didn't do it defense is very, very weak based on a lot of evidence that they had that it was her.
Yolanda Marodi was arrested in Mexico more than a month after the murder and returned to the United States. Her previous conviction of voluntary manslaughter in the death of her husband in 2000 will impact her sentence under California's three strikes law, according to Watkins.
If she pled guilty and admitted that prior strike, then her sentence will be doubled up. So instead of 15 years to life in prison, she'd be looking at 30 years to life in prison. However, had she been convicted of murder one, she'd be looking at 50 years to life in prison, which would basically be a life sentence, given her age.
Following Yolanda's guilty plea, Rebecca's family released a statement saying in part, quote, "This plea is a step toward accountability, but no plea and no sentence can give us back the person we loved. Becky dedicated more than 30 years of her life to serving others as a CAL FIRE captain, running toward danger to protect people she never met. She deserved to be protected in her own home."
And Rebecca's family went on to thank law enforcement and the prosecutors who brought the case to today's guilty plea, adding that they ask that Rebecca be remembered not for how she died, but for the decades she spent saving lives. Now, Yolanda Marodi is currently scheduled to be sentenced on September 2nd. Prosecutors say she faces 36 years to life in prison, Marcella.
So, Richard, you mentioned Yolanda had previously been convicted of manslaughter in her then husband's death. So how much time did she serve for that?
Well, that's right. So her husband back in 2000 was found stabbed to death in his apartment in Fontana. Now, for that, she was sentenced to 13 years. She was granted parole, though, after serving less than a decade, about 9 years, 9 months.
All right. Well, this plea changes a lot for Rebecca's family. They don't have to endure a trial now, so we'll just see what she gets sentenced to.
A real tragedy, though.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.